Welcome in, fans. Welcome into another episode of the Let's Talk Sports, Let's Talk Bets show. Now, adding in Mr. Tanner Dawson from Sports Buffoons, and always Scott Cobe below me here. Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. Tanner, welcome. Welcome to have you. Happy to have you, man.
I'm excited to get on this thing here. I've really picked up my betting lately. Now that football started, of course, has really been coming into play. I feel a lot more comfortable than baseball with this. So, I'm excited to get on this with you guys and, learn a little bit at the same time. Hopefully give you guys some good bets.
Hey, that's why we're here. It's a team effort. Vegas doesn't like us, and we hope that. That's what we want. We want them to hate us. Speaking of Vegas, Scott, how was your trip? Are you hungover, or did everything go well?
No, I'm fine. I came back to a hurricane coming up here on Saturday. I came back to rainstorms. I came back to wind. Yeah. But it was Saturday and Sunday were nice, profitable days for NFL and college football betting. So I am happy.
Hey, the only good bet I had this past weekend was the Browns. That was the easiest bet I made all season. Baseball, everything. That was just such a gimme. But other than that, man, week one, I'm glad it's over because what chaos we had. Tanner suffered chaos. I suffered chaos. Scott, the Patriots were probably projected to lose the Eagles, but it was just too much for me. But before we dive into everything, Tanner, you got some sponsors to plug, so I'd like you to do that for us.
Yeah, let's get this in here real quick here. In case you guys aren't aware, we do have a betting sponsor, specifically. Nick said it a few times, so let's get into it here. I haven't read this yet, so let's do it. When our community wins with us, we want to ensure you maximize your ROI, return of investment, guys. Line shopping for the best odds matter, and that is why any profitable sports bettor needs to be using multiple sports books. If you don't do it, you're doing it wrong. Thankfully, there's never been a better time to get signed up, and we are here to connect you with the best promotions industry-wide, and we are. Using our link, signupexpert.com/let's talk. That's signupexpert.com/let's talk. You can get access to all your sportsbook in your region, along with the review of each platform and its unique features. Most importantly, this page automatically connects you to the top promotions at each sportsbook, allowing you to start line shopping with an enhanced bankroll. If you want to take advantage of these benefits and support our brand, always helps the channel out extremely. Please consider signing up for your next sportsbook at signupexpert.com/let's talk. And that's scrolling below. Scrolling below. So, and it's a great way too. If you're new to sports books, if you're new, just the line shopping period, there's tons of great opening promotions for new enrollment. And this is the way to go about it. You help us out. You get the promos as well, and we all win.
Good stuff. Yeah, I definitely do multiple sports books, just as a side note. I like DraftKings. I like the security, but I like a lot of these other ones too. They definitely do some nice promotions, and, it's good to get some of the lesser guys in there, the lower, not as, most popular names in there. So hopefully they can become popular names for sure. So, great. Tanner, we're going to do something a little different. You are going to prop up on the screen there. We're going to try to go day by day and hit, what we think is the best bets, across multiple sports. But, just things that we've noticed, things that we really like. Of course, at the end of the show, I'll give the picks that I like for this upcoming week. Didn't do too great, Scott, last week. JMU, they ruined it for us. What a travesty that game was. They still ended up winning it because Virginia is that bad. But they should have covered that game hands down. But you mentioned to me before, Scott, you had some pretty good player props potentially this week. I just wanted you to share that while we were getting that going here.
So I have a bunch, but I'll give you 3 or 4. Jalen Hurts over 1.5 passing touchdowns Thursday night. Book it against the Minnesota Vikings, weak secondary and weak defense. I like that one a lot. Ramondre Stevenson over 55.5 yards rushing against Miami. The Chargers running backs went for 260 combined against them in week 1. So that's a pretty good one. And the other one, I'll just give you 3. Dallas Goedert over 4 receptions. The Sirianni talked in the post game about Dallas Goedert and getting him involved more in the game because he had 0 catches, 0 yards. So I have a feeling that that'll be a recorrect, and he'll catch 5 or 6 balls on Thursday night. So those 2 Thursday nights and the Sunday one I like a lot.
Well, Gainwell's out too. Gainwell's officially out, so
yep,
he has to get involved, I feel.
Yeah, and DeAndre Swift will probably get involved a great deal as well. So I like Philadelphia overall to win that game tomorrow night. I think they're going to run right over Minnesota tomorrow night.
You know, it's funny, Scott. Last week I didn't put any money on the Bucks, but I strongly had confidence that they were going to win that game. I've said all season long I haven't had any confidence in the Vikings defense. You know, I obviously love Jefferson. He's an amazing player. Cousins does well in what he does. But the Vikings last year overachieved so much that I think there's a bit of a cloud over top of them that people don't realize that this isn't a 13-14 win team. In my personal opinion, they're probably hovering more around maybe 10 wins. But they also got much worse on defense from this offseason. So I was not shocked when Tampa took the win there. And Philly, in Philly, had the struggles against New England and Foxborough. I'm telling you right now, I think Philly is going to play well, and I like the 6.5 points that I'm seeing right now on DraftKings.
Yeah,
I think it was at 7 at one point, so they're bringing it down a little bit.
Yeah,
the over-under's at 49. I would probably lean towards the over because Minnesota's defense is so bad, and their only way of getting victories is by scoring a lot of points. But Philly's defense is strong. They could really hold down the Vikings in terms of scoring. What do you think, Tanner?
Yeah, I think so. I think this could be one of those shootout games coming into play. You know, you got the over right there. Your best bets at Barstool Sportsbook and FanDuel right now at -105. I would be pretty tempted to hit that right now for that. But I think you're looking. Hurts is going to try to make a statement, of course. Cousins, they're 0-1. They lost to the Tampa Bay Bucks. They're going to be looking to try to do something. So I think the over, I like it. But remember this, the under went 12-4, I believe it was, this last weekend. 12-4.
Yeah.
And once again, the under is taking it all. Again, just like last year. So you kind of decide here. I'd probably go over for this game, but I'd be looking at a lot of Sunday matchups for the under.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, the funny thing was I thought, if Rodgers was there for the Monday night game, I thought it was going to go to the over. It was only at 46, I think, or 47. That's a comfortable number for me with what was going on. But obviously, that was kind of a crazy game. But like you said, most of these games, the under's going to hit, especially in the beginning of the season when a lot of teams, especially teams with young, talent on offense, they're getting used to things. They're, creating what they're going to do on offense. So a lot of times I agree. I love the under. I'm an under bettor. That's usually how I go. But this feels like one of those games, the 3 of the 16 games or however many games this week that's going to go over just because of the style. And another prop I really like, if I could just pull it up right here.
And before you go, Matt, Tanner, remember last week how DraftKings was running at up 7? You win.
Yeah,
they're doing it again. They're doing it again this Thursday night.
This time it's only $25 max.
Yeah. Philly's not bringing you back much money, and I don't think Minnesota's going to get up by 7 at any time in this game. So it's kind of a risky proposition if you want to do it, but there is that bet that's out there. If your bet wins and your bet goes up 7, you automatically cash right away. So
now, Tanner, if you could click on the receiving yards for A.J. Brown, that's actually what I was just about to talk about.
A.J. Brown receiving yards. There we go.
75. That's what I was thinking, maybe 70. I think that this is a perfect matchup for him against Minnesota. He had a good game last week, but really all of Philly, the receivers and everything, didn't have any huge games. They were just consistently what they normally do. But I think this is either going to be a big game for one of these 2 Philly receivers. And A.J. Brown is usually the deep threat. So I think the receptions probably maybe go more towards Devonta Smith. But give me the yards here. I like the over for yards with the matchup. Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think Hurts is going to pass the ball a lot on Thursday night. I think that their offense was stuck in neutral against the Patriots. They didn't really do a whole heck of a lot after they get up 16-0. So me personally, I'm in on almost all the Dallas Goedert overs in terms of receiving yards. It's at like 48, I think. Receptions is at 4. So I'm all over that because if Sirianni's coming out after the game saying we got to get the ball to Goedert, they will make a concerted effort to get the ball to Dallas Goedert. So I like Hurts to throw for like 275 and probably 2 or 3 touchdowns. So, and I think Goddard's going to get one. I think A.J. Brown's going to get one. And I think Devontae Smith's going to get. I think he's going to spread around the touchdowns. But what was their MO last year? Let's be aggressive in the first half, go up early by a bunch, and then sit on the ball and run it for the second half. Yeah. So I think Rashad Penny is going to be active tomorrow night. So I think in the second half, you're going to see Rashad Penny get a ton of work running the ball. So that's what I think the recipe for the Eagles are going to be.
I do have a cool kind of stat here. So since 2012, Thursday Night Football, the home teams own a record of 69-47 straight up, 58, 52, and 6 against the spread. So that's over a 50% chance of covering the spread. And then the totals, here's the interesting part. The totals are split even.
Wow.
Like you're dead even, which is amazing. Because you would think you would be under or over a majority of the time here on Thursdays. You're not. Yeah. That's unreal.
Now, I know the trend over the last season was that the under was really strong in Thursday night games. We saw it in the Kansas City game, too. That hit the under hit for that. So that obviously might make some weary, but I still feel like this is a 28-24 type of a game where it's going to push over 50.
If you look at the first half here, the over-under is 23.5 on some is your best bet there, and your unders at 24 as your best bet there. FanDuel and Barstool between those there. And that's just first half. I feel, gosh, that's even kind of risky at 23. I feel like that's kind of high for this game.
It is. I could see like a 17. I could see like a 17-6 halftime score, or 21-0 halftime, something like that. That's going to really be right around the 24.5. I'd almost want to go -3.5 with Philadelphia in the first half.
Ooh.
Plus 100 on DraftKings still for the first half.
As the side that's going to hit, because I think Philadelphia could build a nice lead in this game early.
You're gonna take the sneaky half point and not go for the push if they only are up by a field goal, Scott?
Well, it's Kirk Cousins in primetime. I don't have any confidence in Kirk Cousins in primetime.
Fair. That they don't show you that on the sports books.
They do not. They do not. I have no confidence he's going to be able to get that team up and down the field to score touchdowns. So,
if it's going to be right here, I think my bet for Thursday night football is going to be Minnesota. I have it at +7 is what I have my bet at. So, because I caught it yesterday or Monday we were doing it. So I have my bet at +7 covering the spread for Minnesota. I think it's a closer game than it should be for Philadelphia in this one.
I'll take the -6.5 for Philly. If it was 7, I'd probably lean more towards Minnesota. I just think that Philly could win by a touchdown. And that's a pretty safe, there's nothing crazy has to happen. Philly's just the more dominant team. And, that's just kind of how it is. But I wouldn't be opposed to somebody buying that half a point and getting back to 7 for Minnesota. And then you get the push just in case. But I don't disagree. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by Philly. I think Philly will bring back some of the dominance that they had. They definitely struggled against New England this past week. But one of the things that makes me like the over is Minnesota, let's say they're down. They have the kind of offense that, garbage time comes around. They can score super quick and blow up an over, whatever the over is at that point. So that's one of the reasons why I like the over too, potentially. Philly could be up 2 scores and they could sneakily just get a quick touchdown before the game's over.
And notice the Caesars line, +6 over 49. Caesars is at +6, and the other ones are at 6.5. So
Yeah,
that half a point might make a difference with a lot of people in terms of what they want to do.
Good
So,
call. I didn't get that one added.
yeah.
I'll have to get that one added.
I mean, that stuck out to me. I was just looking at it really quick, and I saw a +6. I'm like, okay, +6. That's a little bit better odds.
So, Scott, what's your bet here for Thursday night?
I bid Philadelphia. I'm going to take Philadelphia. I'm going to do it at Caesars at -6. It's 110, -110. So I like Philly. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And sorry, Matt, did you say you had Vikes or Philly?
I'm going to take the 6.5 for Philly.
Okay.
I like them at 6.5. The 7, I probably maybe reconsider, but I'll take 6.5.
It's Matt. It's better odds at Caesar though. -6 is -110. The other place is -115. I mean,
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's not.
I guess I should be more confident, shouldn't I? Yeah, I mean, if you can obviously get a free half point, and that's the thing, you gotta, if you want to do this kind of stuff, you gotta have multiple sports books. Man, your phone should be filled with apps of different sports books. It is in the butt, but link your account to them all. Either you're gonna end up broke or rich, and that's kind of how we do things around here. So, I would, like you said, Scott, I strongly recommend looking at that website, finding the best opportunities to gain advantages. At half a point, sometimes that matters, especially when it's so close to a touchdown or a field goal. Maybe 5.5 is not so much, but 6.5, 3.5, like that's going to make a big difference. So, definitely look at that. What are we looking at here, folks? We got Thursday college. I don't know how much. There's only 2 games on tomorrow.
I didn't see nothing big in the college world for it.
Well, you're looking at that, Tanner. Ryan's joining us. Ryan, we're on the YouTube channel for him now, so happy to see you, Ryan.
Ryan, what's up?
Who's better to bet on in Philly, Swift or Penny? Well, if you're talking fantasy, I would say probably in the long Swift. I would say Swift. Running wise, like let's say this weekend, I don't know. I kind of lean towards Penny. I think they're going to start.
Well,
they're going to pound the rock with Penny.
Yeah, Penny was inactive. He was inactive for this team. So you got to look at Swift as being the lead guy going into play, not Boston Scott over Rashad Penny, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think Swift. For now. Scott thinks Penny. You think Penny, right, Scott?
I think Penny, because Penny's going to have the fresher legs, and I think in the second half that's going to be critical. He could break off a long run for a touchdown. It's not out of the question because his legs are so fresh. Where he didn't play Sunday against the Patriots, so that's not out of the question.
Oh, Minnesota's missing the starting center now. Hello, yeah, and that's another thing. Man, Philly they have such a good defense. If they were playing the way they played in the first 2 series against New England the entire game, that could have been a Dallas Giants game.
Yeah, Minnesota's offensive line is hurting, so maybe a Jalen Carter sack you could look at as a prop.
Absolutely. Or total sacks for the Eagles themselves too.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's
so the only Thursday slate game worth betting right now because they're the only ones with a line. I mean, Miami doesn't have a line yet against Bethune, and it's Navy in Memphis with 14 favorite going to Memphis here on that. Now I'm looking at trends here. Navy, of course, hasn't covered the spread in 2 games. Memphis, waiting for it to load. Memphis covered the -21 spread last week against Arkansas State. So, I mean, I'd probably take Memphis, honestly, in this one. They've covered, looks like the spread has been covered in every matchup since 2019, either by Navy or Memphis. Memphis covered last year around the same time, 37-13 on a 7-point spread. So, if I'm going to bet this game, I'm leaning towards that 14 for Memphis. Maybe even a first half of the -7.5 in that one as well.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Because Navy will burn clock, and Scott, we talked about UMass being the worst college team last year. It is Arkansas State this year, so look out for that.
You think so? I watched the program earlier today that there is a team in Nevada that Tanner's hometown team is playing. That
got
is
me.
the worst team in college football, and Kansas is 28-point favorites, and I'm taking Kansas because of that.
Yeah, you got me, Scott. I might put Nevada, crown them worst team, but Arkansas State's right behind them.
Definitely.
All right,
So,
we'll jump to Friday then. We'll kind of keep the speed up going here.
and you can't take the money line on Memphis because it's minus 600. You're not getting anything back, so it's got to be with some kind of points. So
there we go.
And
That's right.
Friday, not much. Oh, my favorite Virginia Cavaliers. There they are. Let's see what we got. 15.5 minus 102. Maryland scares me. They did not play well in the first half against Charlotte this past week. 15.5 is a lot of points, but God, am I really going to give Virginia something? This is the worst ACC team this year. Their chance to win a game was last week against JMU, and they didn't do it. So
the books are baiting you into taking Virginia in this spot. They're just baiting you. They want you to take Virginia.
So what are you trying to tell me, Scott? Oh, I think the first half, Maryland minus 7.5 is pretty tempting.
That's more tempting than the full game. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So
all right,
we got Virginia last week beating JMU by 1 point, covered the 5.5 plus 5.5 right there. Had the over in that game as well versus Maryland, who of course did not cover the 25.5 point spread to Charlotte last week, as well as, but they did go over in the 52.5. Now our over in this game is 48.
48.
Both games last week. So the last two games for both of these teams are on the over. Outside of, I guess Maryland didn't go over on the Townsend, but I mean, I'd be pretty tempted in this one being battle. I might go towards that over and over spread here. It looks like you can get 48.5 at minus 105 on Barstool, possibly. So.
Couple of big things with that too. I watched all that JMU Virginia game, and Virginia's defense is terrible. So I don't discredit the over here. And in terms of two sides of the ball, Virginia's defense is worse than their offense. The biggest reason why that over hit, and it hit so big, is JMU gave up so many big plays to Virginia. I think they had 2 80-yard touchdowns or something similar to that. So a little askew there for the over, but I still think that Maryland can give up points. Virginia's defense is one of the worst in college football. I love the over 48. I'm actually kind of surprised it's that low. I guess they just really don't think Virginia can score, and they did get a lot of big plays last week. It's hard to do that every week, but give me the over. Give me the over 48 for sure.
Yeah. I think that's how we're kind of going with that. See, my thing though, I like this Army UTSA game. UTSA looking for another bounce back after their win last week. Army ended up getting that minus 40 spread last week against DLS, which is no surprise to nobody. But UTSA didn't cover their 11.5 spread last week against Texas State. And, of course, we all know what happened in Houston. So they didn't cover that plus 2.5 either.
Yeah.
And that play. And it's been under has been their last 3 games for UTSA. Army had an under in their first game. And then head-to-head, these guys went over last year. UTSA was a -1 favorite. It would end up being a 41-38 ball game. So this might be something here where we look at the points and maybe take the over at 44 or 44 even.
That's pretty low. Doesn't it seem really low to you? That's strange. 44.
So I may not be taking the -8.5 or the +9, but I'd probably be taking this over at 44.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to take the under in this game.
You're going to take the under. Okay.
Yes, UTSA is defensive-minded. Army has been pretty interesting. So they have started to go to a natural offense. They're getting away from the triple option, and they had their first 50-yard touchdown pass last week or something. So they're not burning clock like they used to, but they're still not quite there yet. So I like under 44.5 because UTSA is definitely, their strength is defense. I think they're actually a really good defensive team. Texas State, don't sleep on them. They're a pretty decent team this year. That's why they probably didn't get to cover that spread. But I don't know if Army can score on a team like UTSA and their defense. Army definitely made themselves look pretty good last week, but Delaware State is also high school level. So
Yeah, those.
I might even buy a couple points to go under. I just don't have a lot of confidence that they'll make this a 27-20 game or something like that. I could totally see it being 21-7 or something where UTSA just totally dominates defensively. It's pretty much a stay away game for me. I think all around. Yeah. If I were to make a choice.
See, I'll probably go after the over in that one. And I'm looking here at the final Friday slate game of Air Force and Utah State, and it's again both games the last 2 years went over, and each team did cover the spread at -9.5. So actually, Air Force covered at -9.5 last year, and Utah State in 2021 covered at +9.5, and the spread again. It's here. It's 10 here. -9.5 here. It's -9.5 is your best bet for Air Force right now, or +10. If you can get it still at Caesars at +10, I'd take that. I would take that right away because Utah State just played Iowa and ended up covering the 21.5 spread and only lost by 10 to Iowa.
Right. Yeah.
So
as well.
Definitely take the under in this game. Air Force's defense is really strong this year. Utah State is, I would say, semi-decent at defense, but they don't have the offense to score a lot of points.
But we got to exactly. We got to remember that they played Iowa, who also doesn't have a bunch of offense to score a lot of points.
Right.
But if you look at the other game of Utah State,
Memphis.
Yeah. Let me. I'm just gonna pull that up here. I want to get that exact number.
Yeah, and Iowa's not. The other thing with Iowa is they're looking to score 17 to 20 points and then rely on the defense to win their games. So, Utah State to hold Iowa underneath even 30 is something that would
It's a big powerhouse program too,
It is. Yeah, it is. It is. So,
or supposed to be. All right.
Yeah. So Utah State obviously took care of business against a D3 school. Gave up 28 points, though. I mean, I don't know if some of that was garbage time or not. And then Air Force, stronger defense, but I still lean towards the under. It's another bet that I'm not super excited to go for. So I think it's kind of this is what I would do if I was going to put money on it into a situation.
Yeah. By the way, this line opened up at 13.5 Air Force favorite. So.
Yeah, I don't. That kind of surprises me. I feel like Utah State is, even if they're not a great D1 school, Air Force is definitely of the similar caliber. I think they probably keep it pretty close to each other for sure.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Is that all we got for Friday?
I guess. What's your main Friday bet, guys? If you're going to make a bet, what's your main Friday bet?
It would be the first half Maryland 7.5. That would be mine.
Yeah, I'm going to continue to vote against the Cavaliers until they really, make me eat a lot of crow. They did kind of last week, but they still lost, so I'm going to ride against them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Army UTSA at over 44.
All right. Okay. Let's see it. All right. Quick chat here, Chad, TTV. How early should I hammer unders on Dolphins Pats if I think the hurricane impacts the game? Unfortunately, with weather, it's pretty much like last minute with weather, man.
So, Chad, I can tell you, I think it's going to be out of here by the game time Sunday night.
Yeah,
they're saying mostly Saturday and early Sunday, and then by Sunday afternoon, it's going to be gone. So, I don't think the hurricane is going to be that much of a factor when it comes to the game. So I would just bet it as if you would normally bet it and not worry about the elements.
Yeah, I agree too. Is it in Foxborough?
It's in Foxborough. Yep.
Okay, so you're in Mass, yeah. So yeah.
They're talking about Saturday. Saturday's going to be the worst day out of the two, and they said Sunday it'll get progressively better as the day goes on. So
Scott Cobe, weatherman and professional bettor, folks.
Weather on the fives.
All right, Saturday. This is the big one, guys. We got a lot of games here. So we can rapid fire it. We can kind of pick out some of the really good ones.
Yeah,
but
we can pick out some ones that we like here. So
this is meat and potatoes here. Okay, first one that pops up, I got to say it right now. Kansas State, take the 4.5 points. I cannot believe it is at 4.5.
Yep.
Missouri, look at what Missouri's done this season. They have done absolutely – in fact, they have more so than absolutely nothing. They've been underperforming so badly that even the coach said, we have a lot to figure out. And they're coming up against a Kansas State team that they covered against Troy last week. And 17 points, they covered that easily. The defense of Kansas State is really strong. I was really surprised.
They've only allowed 13 points this season.
Yeah, 4.5.
Southeastern Missouri, and then Troy only had 13 points.
But look at this discrepancy in the sports books. 3 of them have 4.5. 2 of them have 5. 1 has 5.5. So bet it now at the minus 4.5 because they'll probably all come together at 5.5 by kickoff on Saturday, if not higher.
Honestly, for me, if I'm looking at this, I'm hopping onto that minus 4.5 sportsbook. Looks like Barstool or DraftKings or FanDuel, and I'm going to go ahead and make an adjustment and go to minus 5.5 so I can get almost plus money in that.
Yep.
Because I'm going to try to get around 5.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite bets this week. Is the 4.5 to Kansas State. It's actually one of in my 4 picks. So, I'll take that one. We can jump to another game now, though. I'm not sure about the over.
Last year, Mizzou did cover the 9.5 spread. It says at plus 9.5, but the under did not happen. So,
I would lean on or lead to the over, but I'm straight betting the points for that one. That's just easy money. Scott, you said you had one?
Florida State.
I was about to say
run.
I knew he was going to go there.
Florida State is going to win the game by more than 26 points this week.
Would you believe me?
Huh?
Would you believe me if I told you I got this at minus 24 2 days ago?
Did you really?
Yeah, and I was like, click, 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 click.
Sign me up. Florida State is just so much better than Boston College. Boston College lost to Northern Illinois and beat Holy Cross by 3 points, barely surviving. So there is no way that they're going to be able to hang with Florida State in this game. This could be 35-0 at halftime. So.
Yeah. Now, what about weather though, Scott? What do you think about the weather?
I think Florida State's going to be able to do whatever they want. Short passing game, run the ball. Okay. I think they're going to be able to overpower Boston College. I don't think there's any chance that Boston College can even put up any points against them, to be honest with you.
So do you like the over?
You
like the over?
I would say that's going to be close. The 47.5 and the over-under is going to be close.
Yeah,
I would lean. Remember the Dallas Giants game, 40-0? It might be that type of game where Florida State scores 40 and it stays under the total. So.
Yep, we're in the alignment with that one. That was one of my more favorite bets of this week too.
Yep.
Florida State has proven themselves. They are definitely a top 5 team this year.
Good.
It's nice to see a non-SEC team be so dominant.
And you got to remember, Florida State's number 3 ranked in the country, so they have to win convincingly in these type of games.
Yeah,
they've only got a playoff picture. So
they've only got Clemson left, and then it's the ACC title game, and they're going to walk themselves right to the playoffs after beating LSU.
Don't forget about Duke now. Don't forget about Duke.
Duke too.
Don't forget, let's put some respect here. Let's ignore this Clemson talk again. Let's get
you're right. Because let me tell you something. Duke is the new dog ahead of Clemson in that conference.
That is my other game I like a lot. Duke minus 18 over Northwestern.
Yeah, Northwestern surprised me this past week, but it's not going to happen again.
Yeah, they didn't beat a very good team. I don't think 38-3. They beat who they beat?
It was UTEP. I mean UTEP.
Yeah, UTEP's terrible.
Division I bottom feeders. Yeah, give me the points for Duke. I'll take it. I like the under though. I think Duke will score,
Yes.
but Northwestern won't.
No, they won't.
Northwestern got pretty lucky in the second half against UTEP, and they kind of just rolled. UTEP kind of just gave up. But 48.5. I mean, unless Duke really just balls out and they score a ton on them, the only thing Northwestern really has going for them is, I guess, a top 80 defense. It's not good, but it's not like their offense is really, really bad.
Yeah.
Well, now that's interesting too. The halftime totals.
Minus 10.5. That's it.
Yeah. One thing about college that I don't think people realize is the first half bets are great for teams that are supposed to win by a lot, because usually most of their points come in the first half. They dominate the first half, and then they usually kind of taper off, and things may get close, garbage time, whatever. So I like the 10.5 too at halftime.
I love it too.
Yeah.
I think Duke is going to have their way in the first half and then say, okay, we're up 24-0. Say, now it's time to play some defense and win the game. So
Duke's got something to prove, man. They want to win the ACC.
They certainly do. As Tanner said, Florida State Duke is for the for that side's title game. So
everybody just needs to get Clemson out of their freaking mouth, because it's no longer going to happen. You saw exactly what it's been 2 weeks in a row. That's what you're getting. Get rid of it. Put it out of your mouth. It's Duke, Florida State in this conference.
I just can't wait till the sports books give Clemson, like, I don't know, +5 or something against Notre Dame. I'm going to hammer that at the end of the season. Notre Dame is going to trounce them.
Oh, man. That'd be funny there.
Points by recognition.
Game for you guys, if I can find it here in this list.
While you're looking, I will say this is not a great week for college football. It's not.
It is not. Scott talked about it Monday a little bit too. It is a rough week. Let's load. I want to talk about the Gophers and the Gophers Tar Heels game a little bit.
I got a game for Matt. Arizona UTEP 17.5.
17.5, really?
I'm taking Arizona.
Yeah,
UTEP's one of those fade teams until they prove you wrong. To me,
well, UTEP was supposed to contend with Northwestern last week, and like they were a favorite at one point, and they got absolutely just hammered in the second half. So,
correct.
I'm still surprised that's that low, though. I would have given Arizona a little bit more.
Do you believe in Colorado this week?
Yeah, Colorado.
22.5 again, 23.5 against Colorado State.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna quite take the 22.5.
Ooh, I probably will, because Colorado State is not a good team. They are not. They actually just switched quarterbacks, and I think that this is one of those games that Deion wants to win by 100. I know he normally does, but this is a big one for Colorado. So I'm going to take the points.
23 now.
I'll give you one that is almost certain to hit. Colorado first quarter -6.5.
Is that where is that? Let me see.
No game props. They don't have it on here.
Is that in a parlay? The same game?
No, that's in the. I went on DraftKings and looked at it. And 6.5 first quarter, 6.5 -6.5.
Oh, first quarter. I'm sorry, I was thinking half. I was gonna say halftime. Yeah, you better give me that.
They said Deion was mad with the offense, so at practice this week he's hammering on the offense. You better jump out quick. You better score a lot of points quick. I think
here's the numbers. Here's the numbers I'm looking at right here. 60. I'm going to go under. I think the under. I think the defense is too good for Colorado. That you said it just right, Matt, too. They switched quarterbacks, right? You're going into a fresh system. Like, this could work out for them, of course. But at the same time, I don't think they score a lot of points. I think they scored a little bit more than what Nebraska scored. But I still think you hit the under in this game. If I'm betting coming into that one.
Well, let's say the score is 30-28, you still win, which is not going to happen. It's not. I mean, let's say Colorado scores 14 points, or Colorado State scores 14. and 35,
37.
42.
Yep,
Yeah,
37.
still
14,
so
You get a really comfortable over under here. 'Cause
yeah.
I'm probably taking that under into that one there.
Yeah, that's a really good
Oh,
bet. I should put that in my
let's-
4.
Let's talk about it. Let's get out of the way.
Yes,
6.5.
let's-
6.5. 6.5.
Give me the
Strange.
Gators. Give me the Gators.
And I know the
You like the
Gators are really
Gators?
good when they play Tennessee for some freaking reason. But are we really buying it? Are we really buying it this year?
Tennessee
So-
hasn't won in Florida since 2003.
I think Tennessee wins, but I'll take the points for the Gators. I'll
And
probably jump.
And I'll take the under in this game too. I think it's under.
If anything proved it, the Utah-Florida game, that kind of competition level, I think the unders are fine if they're close to 60 because I don't think that Florida has the offense to elevate. And Tennessee did not look good last week.
They
And-
did
Not
They
at all.
did not.
And they beat up on Virginia, which we all know how I feel about Virginia. So they had a harder time with Austin, PA than they did Virginia.
Yeah.
And I just feel like Florida, they're not going to win, but I feel like maybe +7 I'd feel comfortable. But I don't have a lot of faith in Tennessee, I can tell you that right now.
I'm looking at like a 27-24 game is what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
24-21, somewhere in there. Somewhere
I
in
could
there.
agree with that. By the way, did you see that -3.5 at half? First half there, -3.5, -1 away.
Wow.
I almost would take the Gators. I almost would take them at 4.5.
At 4.5. Yeah,
4.5.
I mean that's. They'd have to lead by a touchdown in that one, but that's tempting now.
That's
FanDuel's a
risky.
full point higher than the other books at halftime.
That one's a mystery to me. That one is a mystery. I feel like they're on upset alert.
Yep.
This is my radar game. And what's the +205? I would sprinkle money line on that. Sprinkle it.
Yeah, for the money line. Yeah. Man, it probably wouldn't hurt. It probably wouldn't hurt to throw some little bit of money on it. I wouldn't mind it.
There's always an upset every week, and that just kind of seems like even the line is getting closer. I mean, 32 to Florida. That's decent. So.
That one opened up at 7.5. So.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're shrinking a little bit.
Give me Wyoming with the points.
29.
Wyoming, Texas at 29. 29.
Texas will have a deflation from the Alabama game, and they start their conference schedule next week. They may be looking a little past Wyoming to put into their conference. 29.5, I'll take Wyoming. Plus 29.5.
I hate when these are so high and, Texas coming off that win against Alabama.
Texas couldn't cover against Rice either. So, like, if you're playing Wyoming, who I think is a little better than Rice, I take the plus 29.5.
Yeah. I'm definitely not ecstatic about that bet, but that's what I would pick if I had to make a choice.
Yeah.
I think the over hits, though. I actually do. I think that Wyoming may get a touchdown, 10 points, and that's pretty much all you need because Texas is probably going to score 30 plus.
I mean, Texas last two games is 57.5 and 59.5 on the over there, and then 40 or they were Wyoming was under against last week on the 53.5, but they were over, of course, in Tech going in overtime there at 54.5. And so, I mean, gosh, man,
that's a tough. That's a sharp.
low. I don't know. I don't know if I touched the over under in this one. Let's take a look at the first half, though. It's always fun to see here. 17.5, 26. That might be obviously minus 120, but that might be our number here if we take
26.5. Yeah, I like the first half over.
Yeah, it makes you comfortable enough there. If Texas just starts blowing them out, you're just working for points at that point. You don't care if Wyoming has to get a certain number. They can just get a touchdown. Texas can easily get 21 points in the first half, and a touchdown for Wyoming wins it for you. So, I like that. And look at that over DraftKings 27.5 plus 105. DraftKings, that's a touch. That's 21-7 at halftime. I think that's totally plausible.
Absolutely. I'll go on
think so, too.
DraftKings and play that.
All right. Any other matchups you guys want to check out?
Not for college. It's kind of a
That's
slow week.
It is kind of a slow week. Not a lot to talk about. I mean, there's the Gophers, Tar Heels at 7.5 favorite for Tar Heels, but they can't play defense anyways. That's over 50,
ugly
over
game against Penn
50.
State.
And the only other one was the Huskies at -16 going against the Spartans, who are also 2-0 on that one. But I think you can probably lean the Washington way in that one, and then I think over under on the Gophers Tar Heels one is probably
And don't forget, there's all kinds of turmoil in the Michigan State program right now. So
no Mel Tucker.
Yeah,
there is.
the kids are very upset, I guess, from what I heard today on a football show I was watching on YouTube earlier, that they're not happy with what's going on. So
And I will say, don't. I wouldn't take the 34.5 for Notre Dame. I think that they win commandingly, but I don't know if it's 35. I really don't. It could be 31. It could be 28. Every time teams go out to Notre Dame, that's their Super Bowl, especially these young schools, small schools.
Yep.
So they're going to get Central Michigan's best. What is that? I'm not sure. But 42-14 sounds like a score that I could totally see. So I don't love the 34.5 for sure. All right, Sunday.
Right off the bat, give me Buffalo. Give me Buffalo -9.
Want to go Buffalo?
The Raiders are not competing in this game. Buffalo's blowing them out.
Jimmy G is also questionable with an ankle injury right now.
Oh, that's even better.
You might want to grab this line at 9 if he's not playing. But listen, Buffalo hasn't had success against backup quarterbacks this year. We can't seem to get it done. So I guess the bet I love about this is the over at 46.5. If Vegas, I think, can score. We saw the aggressiveness of the Bills' defense. I love it, but I think they give up points doing that. So I think that you can be more comfortable taking the over in this. And, of course, Buffalo is going to try to gunsling 100 points in this game. It's like when you're playing Madden and you're upset your team lost, the kind of a game, I think, for the Bills.
You mean like I did last Thursday, last Friday, I tweeted out I had like 480 yards with Justin Ross, 8 touchdowns, 30 receptions. I was just upset. Yeah. That's all. I want to make sure somebody could catch the ball. That's all.
Look at DraftKings. DraftKings at -8.5 in this game. -8.5. That's the one you want to bet with if you're going to bet anywhere. -8.5.
Yeah, I think I like the over the most out of the bets. I don't love when the points are above a touchdown, especially Raiders are still a competitive team. You're not getting Arizona right now. So that's kind of what is making me weary on the 9, but I love the over. Over 22.5 in the first half too. I think that's Bills could probably score on their first drive. Raiders probably will keep it tight. Maybe a field goal touchdown.
Here's the issue: it's like the Bills have to be coming out firing, especially after that performance on Monday or Sunday, right? Or Monday, whatever the hell it was. Like they have to come out firing. They can't. Josh Allen has to have a clean game. If there's I'm kind of tempted on this under, and it's one of those NFL unders that have just been hitting, and 46.5 didn't. Las Vegas may not score much. The Bills may not score much. I mean, you could be like at 21-10 game, maybe, something in that range. So that's my deal here.
If Jimmy doesn't play either, that's going to be big.
Yeah, but if Jimmy doesn't play and it's Stidham, then, 31-10 could be something like that. 31-14. The Bills cover and it still goes under.
I still think you have the under. I'm leaning towards the under in this game.
Yeah, I am too because I don't think the Raiders are going to score much.
You've almost convinced me, gentlemen. I'm so close. I don't know.
You just want the 90 points because damn it, Alan, you owe us for that.
Yeah, he does. No, he does. I've already sent him many messages on Twitter. I'm hoping he'll get back. Let's talk about your Chiefs.
Yeah.
Chiefs here. Chris Jones back. Travis Kelce's practicing today as well, which is nice to see. 3.5 plus 3.5. Look, this is a game I'm not betting on at all because I don't know what Jacksonville's going to come out looking like. I don't know what the Chiefs are going to come out looking like. Defense look good. Defense look good on both sides. After Jags kind of figured life out a little bit. If I'm taking any bet here, I'm taking the under 51.5. I don't think it's a high scoring game in this one.
Give me Chiefs -6. I'll buy myself points and have a good. Chiefs are winning this game by a touchdown or more. I thought Jacksonville didn't win against Indy.
I agree with Matt, and I'm taking it at Caesars -3.5 plus 100.
Plus 100.
I'm gonna buy myself more points. I'm gonna buy myself more points. Give me 6. Give me -6. I bet you that's like what plus 200.
Something like that, I'd imagine, right?
250. It doesn't matter. I think they win by a touchdown or more. The Bengals, the Bills, and Chiefs bounce back week. I think for sure.
Plus, it's Patrick Mahomes' birthday on Sunday. There's that narrative too. I heard today. It's his birthday.
I'll be there.
So
there we go.
He'll want to come out and throw it to Kelsey 500 times.
He's gonna be upset. Tell you that much. I think Tony might walk away with like 80 yards. Some of these prop bets here. We can look at Ridley. 2+ TDs or was it receiving yards?
I like the receiving. I like the receiving yards at 67.5.
I really think that their way to win is to get their big name receivers involved, Kirk and Ridley. I think they can run the ball, obviously, but to beat the Chiefs, you got to have a strong scoring offense. Except for week 1. I mean, week 1 is always just pure chaos.
Yeah.
Regular basis, man. You got to be able to score 30, 40 points on the Chiefs if you want to win.
What's Kadarius Toney's, Tanner?
Let's see. No receiving yards yet or anything like that. TD reception, so 2+ TDs. It's like that's about
nothing
it.
yet. Nothing yet.
Nothing to bet yet. So obviously, too early to really throw down prop bets in the NFL unless you can find some sneaky good ones too early. So
if it's in the 20s, I'm thinking
only a couple minutes left here. Then I got to hop to a meeting.
Okay.
Here, but
okay.
Let's do rapid fire. We'll go through the games and we'll just kind of look here. Ravens, Bengals on that list. Scott, what do you like?
I like the Bengals to bounce back. I think Joe Burrow had his worst game in his career. I think he'll bounce back and have a really good game against the Ravens. And I think the Bengals are going to win 24-17 type of game this week. So I'm going under on that as well.
Yeah, my favorite pick is the under.
Yeah.
I like the under. I actually don't know if the Bengals win. I think they could start 0-2. I really do.
It's early in the season. Of course they will. I'll take the under as well. So
I think the Monday night game, Cleveland and Pittsburgh, is a definite under. Pittsburgh is all sorts of injured. Cleveland gave 3 points up to Burrow. I think that Pittsburgh again is there for the taking against Cleveland. I like that even under 38.5. I think it's going to be like a 21-10 type of game. I don't think
Deontay Johnson too. So if you're looking at prop bets here, let's see if they got anything big yet for Calvin Austin. Nothing for Calvin Austin, and probably nothing for George Pickens yet. Those are two guys to watch with Deontay Johnson for Pittsburgh.
Give me the Browns, baby. They're winning 2-0.
Yeah, the Browns will win. Browns will win it. Browns will
2.5. Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't know if we were going to be on the same page there.
I don't want to be on Bobby G's list of receipts, by the way. So.
Bobby's coming after people. I tell you what.
Green Bay, the Green Bay game. I'll just mention one thing. Aaron Jones has a hamstring injury. Watch that closely this week because if A.J. Dillon's is starting running back, they may throw the ball a little bit more than people think.
Give me the under. Give me the under big time.
Yep. Yeah, I'm thinking the under on this one too. I like it here for that one.
Yep.
My one of my favorite bets this week. You're gonna click on it right there. -5.5 to the Giants. Give me -5.5. Obviously they played like garbage this week, but I think that they're going to bounce back. They have to. And even if they win only by a touchdown, it still covers. So I'm going to take the 5.5.
I think the Giants look so bad, and the Cardinals gave fits to Washington, especially early. And we all know how Daniel Jones likes to collapse when it's time. I'm taking Arizona +6 in this one. I think it's a way closer game than it needs to be, and I think I'll take +6 all day on this game here, even with the battle between probably one of the two worst quarterbacks right now. So give me Dobbs to make this thing interesting. The defense of Arizona make this thing interesting.
All right, Scott, what do you think?
I think Arizona's way to win this game or stay close is to run James Conner 1,005 times. I think it's going to be Conner against Barkley. I like the under in this game for sure.
3.5.
And if it's going to go under, you got to like the Cardinals in this situation because it's going to be a close game, 17-10, 17-14 type of game. So I'm with Tanner. I think that I would lean toward the Cardinals in this game.
Fair enough, gentlemen. All right, what do you think? We'll do one more each. My only other one that I wanted to look at was scroll down just a little bit. That Jets, Dallas Cowboys. The line changed dramatically because of Rodgers being gone. Yeah. But I like the under hugely in this game. Josh had horrible fits with the Jets defense. Dak is going to have the same issues. And obviously the Jets offense isn't going to be able to stop anything on the Dallas side. So give me the under all day long.
Yeah, well, give me -9 on this one too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
-8.5. I'll take -8.5 actually over 9, big time.
Do we actually think Zach Wilson's going to do anything against this defense?
I think what we saw Dallas do last week to Jones is what you're going to see done to Wilson as well. I think it's going to be a very defensive game. You're not going to see Dak do it too much either. So, give me that. Hey guys, I got a jet to this meeting. I'll let you guys finish out.
Hey, thanks so much, man.
Thanks, Tim.
We'll chat with you guys later.
All right.
Scott, all I've got left here, there we go. I just want to do our recap here for the Football Fire 4.
Sure.
Obviously, last week. Last week, week 1. We've talked about
Thanks,
week 1.
James Madison. We appreciate it greatly, by the way.
And Riders going down killed the over. And actually wasn't as far away from that number as I expected it to be when Rodgers got out. But Jacksonville -5, that was easy money. Utah, they beat them by 7, so we got the push on that. I was a little bummed about that, but I think this is where we bounce back, Scott. New York Giants -5.5. We got Florida State -24. ASU -4.5. And then Iowa State, Ohio. We didn't get to talk about that. Under 47. Iowa State, not a good offense. Ohio's going to, I think, their third quarterback now, maybe second. I think they rotate a little bit, but their star quarterback is out for the season, unfortunately. I love Ohio. I always bet them. They always seem to do well for me. But under 47, this is going to be a very low-scoring game. What do you think, Scott? You like any of these?
I like three of the 4. I like the Florida State -24. Even in the inclement weather and the rain, they're still going to be able to name their score. Missouri, we talked about, while we go over the games with Tanner, not very good. Kansas State should win by at least 2 touchdowns, I think. And Iowa State, Ohio's going to their second or third quarterback. That's never a good sign to score points in any type of football game. So, give me the under. The Giants one's the only one that, I'm leaning toward Arizona. I don't have a final pick on it yet, but I'm leaning toward Arizona this week.
Well, let me just put it this way. If the Giants don't get it done and they don't cover this and they don't win against Arizona, that is going to be awful for Daniel Jones. Not Brian Daboll. Daniel Jones.
It sure is. It did. What did he throw for 75 yards or something like that the other night? He didn't even throw for 100 yards. So
I don't want to push too hard because obviously my quarterback didn't do well last week. Mahomes had some struggles. Burrow had huge struggles, worse than Allen.
Yeah.
So we could throw week 1 out, but Daniel Jones has been a question mark for the Giants for a long time. So they gave him a lot of money. So he better beat Arizona. That's all I can say.
Yeah, and as I had Bob Harris on my show last night. As he said, week 1's a liar. and week 2 is when you finally find out what exactly you have in players and stuff like that. So we'll find out what Daniel Jones has got at Sunday in Arizona. If he loses to Arizona, you're going to have to really question what he's going to do as a quarterback here the rest of the year. So,
yes, sir. Scott, that's everything we got for today. It was nice having Tanner with us. He's going to be with us from now on. But hey, you got some changes going on, so I wanted to give a moment to let everybody know about those changes.
So the Let's Talk Sports show has gone to the pregame football show on Sunday. So there's that. And then we're on Monday night, Thursday night, making our picks, talking NHL, MLB with Jonathan Grishman and Jim Behringer. Tuesday's the baseball show. That will be ending in the next month or so because baseball's just about over. Going into the playoffs. We'll go through the playoffs. Not sure what the plan is, past that. On my Wednesday morning newsletter with Alan went off this morning. We'll do that every Wednesday. The Scott Cobe show will be, where me and Tanner are talking about a couple of different things going on right now with that. So we'll see where that lands. It might be a once every other week type of thing, but it'll be there. And then it's our show on Wednesday has gone through some changes with Tanner, which is a welcome change. Having him here going through the games. As you see, he's the computer guy. He does a lot of stuff with the computer. So it's easier for us to take a look at all the games right there with all the sports books and all the different betting stuff angles. So, it's phenomenal to have him, have him part of this now. So,
I'm super happy. The prep I have to do to get all the games in there, he's able to just make it nice and pretty on the screen. It makes me happy. It makes me happy that people can see it too, especially the different sides of things for betting too. That's a big deal.
Absolutely.
But yeah, folks, Wednesdays, 5:30 now. I promise this will be the last time we move this show. I think we've moved it about 9 times, but this is it. And catch us on the Fantasy Football for the People YouTube channel. That is Ryan and I's fantasy football show, but also more content from Ryan. He's going to be doing a lot of fantasy football going forward. So catch that. He's got TikTok now. It's starting to blow up, Scott. We're spreading like a sweet cancer.
Ryan's all over the internet now. Watch out.
Yeah, I can't scroll through TikTok without seeing his face now. So my wife is like, "Is that Ryan?" I was like, "Yeah, that's Ryan. He's on there." But yeah, catch us tomorrow, by the way, 5 o'clock for the fantasy show. We got to talk a lot about how much money you should be spending on Puka Nacua. So that is going to be a interesting topic with Ryan. But other than that, folks, that's everything we got for today. So, hopefully your bets go well this weekend, and we will see you soon. So everyone, take care.